Three little birds, no woman, no cry. Could you be loved? You've probably heard of all three of these songs before. But what about the man behind them? Bob Marley. Today I'm going to inform you on the life, music, accomplishments, and activism of the reggae legend himself. Early life and the formation of the Wailers. Bob Marley was born in 9 Mile, Jamaica on February 6th, 1945, to a Jamaican woman and a British man. The, taboo nature of their relationship at the time caused Bob Marley to be given to his grandfather, where he resided and worked on his farm until his very early teens. After this time, he formed the band Bob Marley and the Wailers with two childhood friends. The village of 9 Mile itself was very impoverished. The living conditions were poor. There was not a lot of wealth to go around. There was lots of violence, poverty, sickness, and just all around poor conditions, which inspired various songs and many topics sung about later in life. The Wailers consisted of Bob Marley and his two childhood friends, Peter Tosh and Bunny Wailer. Peter was, the most outwardly musically talented one of them, as he was the one who taught both Bob and Bunny how to sing, play guitar, play percussion, and just all out perform in general. There was lots of exposure to cultural fusion during this time as well, as there was lots of American aspects in the village, such as American rock was often played, and the introduction of Rastafarianism, which is a fusion religion of Christianity and various Jamaican religions. Many of their songs brought attention to real-world issues, such as those faced by the members of the village, including Bob and his friends and family. They called themselves the Wailers because they essentially cried for attention at first, that meaning they needed gigs and any sort of, fan base they could gain, which would cause them to kind of beg out in desperation to see if anyone would book them or allow them to play, which in fact worked in their favor because they amassed a pretty decent following in this time. I guess they could be considered locally famous, where they were very known in their town and the surrounding towns. Their first radio hit, Simmer Down, released, gained even more attention from various DJs, producers, and other reggae artists who wanted to work with them. The music itself is very unique in that it fused various elements of American rock and classic Jamaican reggae, as well as having a very meaningful message. Lots of the topics spoken about besides the village were, he was very anti-war, very pro-peace, and you could say the songs he released himself was a big part of the activism that he partook later in his life. Some notable albums they released include Natty Dread, Kaya, Rastaman Vibration, and Uprising. Later life, fame and death. At this point, Bob Marley was a absolute world-renowned superstar. As he was known, he wasn't, liked by everyone, but most people at least knew who he was. Various albums peaked the Billboard Top 100 at this time. His album Exodus even hitting number 8. And during this time of his increased fame, there was increased, political participation, in which he spoke out against and for various politicians, one of them being a prime minister of Jamaica who was for the People's Party of Jamaica. One of the rival factions, in fact, saw Bob, I guess, condoning this guy and set out to assassinate him and his family. This happened in Kingston, Jamaica, 2 days before a concert, where four armed gunmen entered his home, shot him and three other people, including his wife in the head. Hard to believe, but nobody was dead. Everyone fully recovered and ended up being completely fine after that. But after that, Marley was very shooken up. He fled to England, where he recorded the album Exodus. This was also known as one of the most important albums of all time. Another instance was which he brought up two very known political rivals and proved that anyone can be peaceful, essentially. The message stating that we as a species need to come together, put our differences aside, because the only way to truly survive and progress is with peace. In 1981, he was diagnosed with a very rare form of skin cancer, where he shortly died after at the age of 36. Overall, the life and legacy of Bob Marley is still very, very seen today, with his music being very celebrated. It's found in lots of pop culture. There's movies about him and whatnot. The more that comes to light just proves that he is an extremely important figure with a everlasting impact. Well, thank you. And these are my works cited.